Hello, Jordan.
What's going on, Michael? Welcome back to the podcast. I'm happy to have you here.
Hey, thank you very much. I'm happy to be here. What do you got for us today?
Man, well, my daughter's been super poopy this morning.
Okay.
She's been very poopy, so she pooped through her diaper she's sized up, but she's just been she's a real poopy girl, you know.
She's making lean gains, I would imagine.
Oh man,
at that
she's
age.
On that the ultimate bulk, you know how you had the ultimate sweat. She's on the ultimate bulk.
I love that.
So she's she's on the eat more, move less diet. That's what she's following.
That's a good one. She's doing a lot of neck training, I know.
Oh, dude, so much. And my wife, it's like the classic husband versus wife dynamic with the child where I'm like, no, leave her there. Let her struggle through it. And my wife is like, no, she's crying. I'm like, it's okay. Let her struggle through it. So we do tummy time where she's on her stomach to work her neck muscles and, she'll start crying. My wife wants to stop the crying immediately. I'm like, no, you got to let her work through it a little bit. So it's a good dynamic.
And she does, I would imagine.
Yeah, she lets her work through it, and she hates it. She hates
but she works
crying.
through it. I mean,
oh yeah, she works through it. Yeah, and getting stronger every day. So holding her head up nice and high, improving her postural muscles. Oh yeah, everything's going well over here.
Let's go. I love it.
How about you? What's going on over in the house Vacanti?
All things are good, man. Just got a nice training session in this morning and jumped straight to the podcast here. Our first ever video podcast.
Video pods, baby. Let's go.
We're here. We're live.
I can't believe it's actually happening. That's crazy.
I can't either. I'm excited. Look, we're doing a 3-month trial. We talked to David, our audio engineer, set up a system where we're going to try these for 3 months, see how they go, and reevaluate after 3 months. So weekly episodes for the next 3 months.
Could be short-lived. Maybe we'll go back to non-video pods. So make sure you get the most out of it while we're here.
But make it a good 12 episodes. My biggest apprehension is that, and I talked to you about this before, that it felt like, to me before video, felt like I was just talking to you like a phone call and we were just dicking around and having fun like we normally do. Whereas this feels like, and I don't know if it's that we're now investing more money in the entire operation, because that's part of it, or if it's the fact that one of the main points of doing this on video is to make micro content for it, to have a lot of clips for Reels, TikToks, Shorts, and then rather than just having a conversation where we're whether it's goofing around or trying to figure out the truth of something or even trying to educate deeply on a specific question, now it feels to me like trying to make short form content that will do well, which is something that, I don't know. It's just where my head is right now, even though I don't want it to be.
Yeah, I think all we do is exactly what we've been doing, and it will happen. Just keep doing exactly what we've been doing. Because it's funny, even though we're doing video pods now and they can see us, we could still see each other. It's for us, it's basically the exact same thing. Now we're investing more money in it and getting David to get clips for us. So that's the main difference.
I think that's the right mindset. I still think that someone who listens to a long form Spotify and listens to every episode is very different than someone who stumbles across a clip and it feels, we'll see. We'll see if us talking about your daughter being on this shit 15 times a day bulk is something that TikTok wants to hear about compared to a more intentional piece of micro content.
Oh, they want to hear about it. I spoke with TikTok. They want to hear about it.
Good news. We'll find out. We literally will be able to see how that performed. What else is happening?
Dude, nothing. Man, it's the status quo over here. Just, eating, sleeping, pooping. I'm on a mini cut while my daughter's on a major bulk.
Day 32?
Day 32, down about 6 pounds or so.
Let's go. Nice.
Yeah, it's going well. Yeah, it's going really well. I know we spoke about this. I think we spoke about this in the last one. I'm not sure. I get all confused, but
it's been a few weeks by the time this gets uploaded. So,
oh yeah, just the importance of the importance of not only talking about things and discussing the science, but actually showing it and taking people on your journey as well is just like, it's so powerful. People like the engagement that I get with people just through stories and all of that, like it's insane. Strongly recommend doing that. And it also shows that you don't just talk the talk, but you walk the walk as well. So,
and it's so easy because you want to do it anyway. It's
exactly.
like you wanted to lean out some anyway, so document that process. It's kind of how I think about vlogging, although not like really good vlogging where you're pre-planning every single video and having like strategic thumbnail, title, etc. going into it, but like a documentation style vlogging. It's like I'm living my life anyway. I may as well put that on the internet where it will then be something that ends up being beneficial not only for educating your audience, but then further downstream from that is monetizing via whatever avenue you want with that attention that you grow over time.
It's interesting. I've been sharing my weight chart and my consistency calendar that are all a part of the Inner Circle app. And I was thinking, man, if I didn't have the Inner Circle, I would do the exact same thing. Just like I would write my own program like I would for one-on-one coaching. And I would share that data as though I was doing it for a one-on-one client. Because the people who've been seeing these weigh-in charts and the consistency calendars, they've been like, what app is this? I want to use this, da-da-da. And it's been a big push for the Inner Circle without me hard selling it. All I do is just show what I'm actually using. But if I didn't have the Inner Circle and I was only doing one-on-one coaching, I would make myself a program and I would interact with myself like I was a client to show people how my coaching program worked. So it'd be like, oh, wow, like, where'd you get this chart from? How does this work? Like if you have systems to track your clients' weigh-ins or to track their measurements or to track their pictures, or to track their programming, you show the program that you're doing. Showing all of that is exactly what I would do if I was just doing one-on-one coaching, and guarantee it would lead to more clients because they actually see the systems you're working with.
Which again is so easy because you're already doing those things.
Yeah, exactly.
It's literally just documenting it. Let's see what we got here. I got some non-fitness stuff.
Oh, I love that. Let's do some non-fitness. I'm tired of fitness, man. You know what I mean?
I'm actually getting real revved up on fitness.
I like that. I like hearing that.
Although, you know what? This is great. This is kind of funny. And maybe you want to tell this story of what happened Thursday morning when we were talking.
You have to know by now in our relationship. I don't even know what day today is. Never mind what we spoke about on Thursday.
The day of when we were going to podcast, and I called you that morning and was like, maybe we rip a video pod this afternoon. Like, who knows? Like, maybe remember?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And the obligatory aspect of it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Do you want me to tell it or do you want to tell it?
You can tell it from your end.
All right, I'll tell it from my end, and then we can corroborate and see if it lines up with what you remember.
I like that word.
When in doubt, we always go with what Mike remembers, because we've realized that my memory is it's so shot. I don't know what it is, but I don't remember things as well as Mike does. But so we get on the phone, and I'm driving to jiu-jitsu. This is the daily routine. I wake up, I go to jiu-jitsu, and I call Mike while I'm on my way to jiu-jitsu, and we don't have a podcast planned on Thursday. We were going to do it on Friday, but schedules got shifted around. So Mike was like, hey, so I don't know, I'm sort of feeling like we could do a podcast later today. Would you be open to doing a podcast later today? And I was like, yeah, because I'm a P. Like, I'll just pee it up. I'll do it. Like, I'll do whatever. And I forget the words that happened, but as soon, you know what? Now I remember. I said, oh, well, actually that's good because I wasn't going to be able to do it on Friday anyway. And then in your mind, as soon as it became something from potentially we'll do it to, oh my God, we have to do it today, you were like, oh man, now I don't even know if I want to do it anymore.
You're like, your demeanor changed instantly, my demeanor instantaneously, and it really did. And it went from something that like, oh, this would be fun, like we could podcast this afternoon, to an obligation on my calendar of like, we have to do a podcast today. And I was like, oh gosh, and you were dying laughing because it was just like, that switch was so fast. You'd be like, oh yeah, I actually can't tomorrow, so let's do it today. And it felt locked in. And that, I can't even tell you how much of an unlock that is for other things that I've experienced in life. whether it's like locking myself into a content creation schedule in the past, whether it's talking about a specific fitness goal. I'll never forget, Gary used to talk about this. I remember like Conor McGregor in his prime, or like even on the come up, and in that documentary was like, I say things publicly because then I commit myself to them and then I end up doing them. And a lot of people adopt this strategy. If I ever say anything publicly, I basically never do it. I'm going to X. It just doesn't happen. You were talking about the obligation of this Instagram series that you promised of the 5 best abdominal exercises, something along those lines. And you're like, well,
yes,
now I promised it and I can't even make other content until I do it because they're expecting this. I was telling you a funny story about me promising someone about how to design your own training program article, like long form, probably like a 10,000 word article that I was going to put out. And once it became an obligation, I was like, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm not. And so this is a real champagne problem, obviously, because if there was an obligation and you actually needed to do something, right? If you didn't do that thing, there would be a negative outcome in your life. Of course you do it. But it's a funny, like, once I say something, I'm like, I don't want to do that. Versus doing it out of love of the game, or like the almost like an impulsiveness, a joyfulness, a playfulness, like part of the adventure, rather than a block of time on the schedule where I have to do X.
Yeah, it is super interesting how that works. And I feel like it depends on the thing. Like for me, my workouts, having them written down, having a time frame for them actually helps a lot. But like for content creation, that actually stifles me. It's like if I have a content creation time, I can't do it. It's like, well, now I'm required to be creative and think in this time block. Like that doesn't work for me. Whereas workouts, I don't have to be creative. Here's my workout, here's my plan. I just follow the plan and I'm done. So I think creativity on demand is very difficult.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree. It depends on what the thing is.
Yeah.
That's why that maker schedule exists, where artists and creatives block off half a day or a full day rather than block off 45 minutes to, like, insert the thing that they want to create in that time frame.
Yeah, exactly.
You block off times for your workouts? You're like 7 to 8 p.m. or like when you can do it and want to do it, but knowing that you have to do it sometime that day?
I just have general time frames that I know I'm going to get my workout in, that's like based on the schedule that we have right now. So it's more just like known that this is my workout time, and we have the same thing for my wife, like when her workout time frame is going to be. It's not like a strict hour. It's not like, well, you said you'd be back by now. It's more like, within this like 2.5, 3 hour window is when we know like you'll get it in or I'll get it in. But it's nice to have that there, because it's also one of those things where when I don't want to be getting the workout in, it's like I can start to prepare for it and get myself ready for it. But that's the thing is, if it was something creative, I can't prepare to be creative. That doesn't work for me. It's like, that's why for content, the way I've worked out my whole schedule is I can be creative whenever I want. Like that's sort of how I've built my schedule. Like I can be creative whenever I want throughout the day, because like I've built that schedule and built that opportunity. But for other things, like whether it's certain calls or meetings or working out, whatever it is, like that, I don't need to be super creative on those. I just need to be very matter of fact.
Yeah.
So it's not difficult.
That makes sense. All right. What else we got here? We got a couple of email questions, and so we'll probably do a couple email questions today, and then a couple of random Instagram Q&A questions.
Cool. Do I look blurry to you?
Maybe slightly, but this is the first video pod, right? We're just banging it out, throwing it out there. We can adjust.
Well, I know that there's a thing above you that says actual recording is higher quality.
Yes. So in this software, it says that when we're live, we see it in 720, but when it's in 1080, the like final output.
Got it. Okay. Good.
I have no idea. I mean, David highly recommends this. I don't know if a computer web camera from, I don't know when I got this computer, 5 years ago maybe, is like, I don't know
compatible.
How that compares in quality, to like an iPhone or Android or current day cell phone camera.
I'm sure it's good. And your audio quality is just perfect. So
Okay. This is, you know what, before we get in, this is interesting to me. I thought about this during my lift this morning. Do you want to tell the story? I'm going to let you tell it the way that you want to tell it, and with as much or as little detail, or I think we can just tell it completely normally. When you were in like the 2012 to 2013 time frame, and I could be off, give or take a year here or there, but I remember you thinking that you didn't want to be reliant on relationships with other people in the fitness industry for your business growth and success, but rather you wanted to break out of
the circle jerk.
There we go.
The fitness circle jerk. We're not PC on this podcast.
All right, good.
I explicitly said I wanted out of the fitness circle jerk.
You posted that?
No. But okay. I told my buddy Pat Flynn, I told him that because I hired him as my business coach. And now I said, like, he was like, what's your goal? And I said, I want to be out of the fitness circle jerk. I don't want to depend on other people. And I don't want to have my business success dependent on other people's sharing of my content or whether I'm aligning myself with their beliefs outside of fitness. It's like, I want to be completely independent of all of these other people, which I think for people who've gotten in the industry in the last 5 years, they might not fully understand it. But back in that time, there was a clear circle of fitness professionals that was all done on Facebook, basically. It was all on Facebook.
And blogs.
There
were just there were way fewer fitness content creators then.
Way fewer, and there were fewer mediums, right? It was like the Facebook was the medium that we were on, and like that's where we communicated on and shared content and shared beliefs. And I was just like, this is so far outside of my comfort zone, and I don't see this being a good long-term strategy at all.
The reason I bring that up is I see, well, there's two things, right? There's what we talk about a lot, which is when you're making content, when you're writing specifically, don't write your captions, don't write your articles in order to impress your peers and use big words and fancy technology and talk about things that aren't relevant to your potential client just because you want to impress so-and-so person in the industry, but instead write in a way that's actually going to help your client or potential client, which are two different styles of content creation. There's not only that, but there's also this like, it's like I scratch your back, you scratch mine, circle jerk aspect to networking and like relationships with peers in any industry. And I go back to Gary when he and his brother were starting VaynerMedia, and in the years shortly thereafter, when I was coaching him and he was saying like, I don't care at all about what I can't even think of any of the big ad agencies at the time, but like, I don't care what like these guys think of me, or I don't care what these guys think of me. I care about my relationship with my audience. I care about my relationship with my community, what my community thinks of me, and like the back and forth there, rather than your peers, which, and the way that translates into fitness right now that I see it is people afraid to say certain things or take stances because they don't want to go against people in the same area, and like a real like for like, tit for tat, like commenting on each other, like basically not real friendships, but essentially feeling the need to agree and align yourself with people that you don't necessarily agree with on fitness or non, like you said, but even just like on basic fitness stuff. Because you feel like you have to for your own success, and caring about that way more than you care about your relationship with your audience.
Yeah. And one of the things I like about our relationship, like you and me, is we don't complain or gossip, or like so much of our conversation is just about what we actually enjoy and what we value and like what we want to do. Whereas I remember when like being in that circle jerk, there was just so much complaining and gossiping and talking behind people's backs and conniving. And it was a very, and I was lucky because number one, I was very young. I was like 20, 21, 22. And I hadn't really solidified myself as like a key player in the industry at that point. So I was like, first, when I was really young, I was like, I want to be in that. I want to be in that group. As I started to make my way in, I was like, oof, this isn't what I want to be a part of. Like, this isn't at all, because it felt like middle school politics, and like just like who's the popular kids, and they decide everything. And it was just like, this is not good. So yeah, I mean, I think it was just, I have no interest in being a part of this, and I don't see it actually being a good business strategy at all, or life strategy.
And then instead of like, so I guess you could go on to talk about how you went on to not be a part of it and still succeed.
Yeah, so I was working with Pat Flynn at the time, and one of the amazing things that I got from working with Pat was understanding email lists and understanding having your own audience that you could directly contact at any point in time. And so when I was working with Pat, this is before I started to really get into social media and use it the way that Gary taught. I just started collecting emails, and I put out great information and great content and collecting emails. And I realized I could just interact directly with my email list. I didn't even need to put anything out publicly. I could just solely write my email list. I didn't have to publish anything on social media. I didn't need a huge audience. I had a very small audience at that time, but I had a social media list of people who really, really cared about me and valued what I had to say. And I remember for the first time since beginning in the online world for several years, probably for the first time in about 4 to 5 years, feeling completely independent and being like, wow, this is great. I don't even need to post on social media. And that's actually, people ask me now, they're like, are you worried like if your social media account gets taken down or whatever? I'm like, that obviously wouldn't be good. I wouldn't be happy about it, but I'd be totally fine because I have an email list and I have a text list and I have lists that I can contact people directly. And if I never wanted to post on social media again, it wouldn't be a problem because I could always just reach out to my email list that I've spent the last 11 years building. Mm-hmm. So I think for me, the biggest thing was, and I see this all the time. Like, for example, I've seen people doing this. I've seen this entire multiple, actually, like the gurus, like the mastermind gurus saying, make a private Facebook page that people can go on and then and get all of your audience to follow you on a private Facebook page. Like, what a stupid fucking idea. All of the time and effort and energy that you're getting to funnel people onto this other social media platform to a private page is you could just use that time and energy to get them on your email list. Because on a Facebook page, you don't control that. You have no control over the Facebook page. You have no control over who's going to see it. It's why not just get them? And on a Facebook page, there are many positive aspects about community, which is one of the reasons why, we have one for the mentorship and we have one for the inner circle, but we're also we have a very unique approach to it. And we're very clear with we make sure that the communities that we build are very positive and uplifting and encouraging. And that takes real work. That's not something that you do passively. You don't want to have this like poisonous, obnoxious community where people are gossiping and all. That's like what was going on in Facebook back in 2013, 2014, 2015, when I was like, I don't want to be a part of this. In an email list, there's no toxicity. There's no bickering. There's no gossiping. It's just you and the person you're emailing. And if you could have hundreds or thousands or hundreds of thousands of people you're emailing, but it's still one-on-one communication. And I think that's really how you build these one-on-one interactions, these one-on-one relationships with people, just with you, not worrying about what other people are saying or other people are commenting. It's you and them. And I think for me, that was the biggest turning point initially, was developing an email list and getting one-on-one contact with people in a real close individual way.
I love that. And not to mention, like, some people might hear that and say, yeah, well, you can get banned from social media, but your email service provider could also kick you off the platform, right? Like, so do you really have direct access? Yes, you do, because you can export your emails and literally have them in an Excel file on your computer, not in the cloud somewhere, and actually have those lists. So if you couldn't send via your current email service provider, you could send via another email service provider or in many other ways, but you have direct access. And two, some may also say, well, You don't actually have direct access to them because Yahoo or Gmail or whoever else your emails might go to the marketing tab. They might go to the spam tab. They might, similar to how an algorithm might not show you someone's content you want to see, their email, Gmail might not let you get into their inbox. It's so easy. Like, I'm subscribed to a handful of newsletters that I want to read. It's so easy to see those, right?
Yeah.
Like, pull it from marketing into the other thing, and you're going to see it every single time. They know if you're opening every single time, it's never going to spam. Whereas you could follow someone on Instagram and really want to see their stuff and not end up seeing very much of their stuff over time.
Yeah, you can see it in the data, and Facebook releases their information. All these platforms release what percentage of your audience will organically see it. Facebook business pages are less than 1%. Like, less than 1% of the people who follow your page will actually see it. Instagram, definitely less than 10%. It might even be less than 5% right now. Whereas you look at deliverable emails, it's over 98%. Having over 98% delivered to their inbox. And like, if you write good emails, it's usually between a 25 to 50% open rate. It's like, you can't argue with that. Not to mention, like you said, you can download all the emails, have it on your computer. Worst comes to worst, I will go to my Gmail account and one by one input all of these emails into a BCC and write them all a damn email. Like,
or not even a BCC, write them an email one-to-one like we used to.
One by one,
back
exactly.
In the day, before Jordan and I knew that there was this thing called,
autoresponders.
Well, yeah, not even autoresponder, but like when a template via WordPress where they could sign up to get your lead magnet, and then you could have a pre-written email that they received. No. When they put their email address in there, I would get a notification, and then at the beginning of each day, I would look at all of the people who signed up for it, and I would one-on-one email each person, attach the PDF of the beginner's fitness guide, send it to them. Yeah, that was a wild
Those are the
time.
days, man.
We were just young and like just
hungry.
Yeah. Ready to like get dirt under our fingernails and get after it. Very different than where I'm at right now.
Email really is. Listen, social media is great. And that's one of the best things I learned from working with Gary and watching him is the email list crowd, the email marketing crowd is very derogatory towards or pessimistic towards the social media. Because they always say things like, oh, you don't need social media to make sales. Email's where all the sales happen. And I agree, the majority of sales happen over email. But what I realized from building my social was that it's better to have both than either alone. And if you are more active on social media and you have a more engaged audience, then you will have better sales and better open rates on email. So when I wasn't as active on social media, my open rates were much lower, and like much lower by like 25. They were 25 to 30%, which is still very high. But now that I'm more active on social and people actually are seeing what I'm saying and they care, my open rates are between 45 to 50%, which is, I think, is a direct result of they've developed a closer relationship with me through social media. So when they see something come through via email, they're much more interested in what I'm going to say. And if they see me talking about something on social media or promoting it, and then I send them an email about it, they're more likely to buy it because they've seen closer looks at it on social media. So they both play into each other. But I think having an email list is your insurance policy. It's your fail safe. That's like no matter what, you've got that. And I think that should be something you're building from day one, week one, to the day that you're done with all of this. Like, you should always, always, always be building that and maintaining it.
That actually transitions us super nicely into a question from Megan, who's subscribed to the podcast email list that we have not emailed in probably roughly a year, to be honest, that there's a very good chance that we start writing a weekly email now that we're hammering these video
Very
podcasts.
good. Oh, man.
Obligating us to not do it. Just a terrible
There's
move.
a very good chance we're going to start writing a weekly newsletter. I'm like, okay.
What think of the De Niro. There we go. Give me a name for it.
Our weekly newsletter?
Yeah. Silver Bullet Sunday, Business Bullet.
Silver Business Bullets.
Yeah,
Silver Business Bullet Sunday. Yeah.
Is that what you used to do?
Man, I used to have silver strength bullets on Fridays and silver business bullets on Sundays.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, those were good. That was like 2016, 2017, 2018.
Should we write some silver business bullets? Maybe we do a monthly email newsletter.
I like the monthly one. I think once a month, maybe once every 2 weeks, something along those lines. It's just like silver business bullets, a little bullet pointed list of things to pay attention to.
Someone, I forget his name, someone emailed us and was like, guys, I love the podcast. Like, I listen every week. I think I'm subscribed to the email newsletter, but you guys talk about the newsletter and I'm just not getting the emails. Like, what's going on? I was like, brother,
Yeah,
that's on us.
that's our fault. We've got the list. We just don't email the list very much.
Yet.
Just
like video podcasts were going to happen, and here they are. You got to bring that face out. This is actually the first time Jordan does this. Jordan's big on impressions. He does that probably like 3 times a month for the last 18 months at least. And but it's never made its way into like content with Kenzie and Johnny and all of your characters.
Yeah. This is the first intro to my Robert De Niro guy.
Oh, you're testing it. Megan said, hello, I'm loving the podcast. I decided to get certified with no real plans. I love the idea of being an online personal trainer, but I stall because it seems daunting starting from zero. What are the first things to establish as a personal trainer with 0 clients? Do I set up an email list, grow a following, train a family member, etc.? Thank you for all you do.
Yeah, so that's a great transition into this. And I think based on what we just said, people would think the first thing is build an email list, but that's not the first thing you should do. The first thing you should do is get really good at coaching and study and learn and read books. Read books. Don't try and learn from Instagram. Learning from Instagram is a waste. It really is. And it's like you can learn basic ideas and simple facts, but you don't learn how to coach. You don't really learn to understand the whys, the hows, the whats. Like it's very surface level. So I would read books and I would read research reviews. Alan Aragon's research review is such a great place to begin for $10 a month. Strongly recommend doing that. But becoming a good coach first and foremost. From there, I think what you can do in conjunction in that process of becoming a better coach is just posting about what you're doing, posting about your training. If you're training any clients, whether it's for free or not, like post about their training, just start documenting that process now. It's funny. Like someone actually sent me, I forgot to reply. Damn, I feel like a dick. Someone sent me a message on Instagram the other day. He must have spent 30 minutes scrolling through all my posts because he went down to like one of my first ever Instagram posts where I was coaching somebody and I was just posted a video of them doing a lift and it had like 4 likes on it. And he just sent it to me and he said, I just want to remind you how far you've come. I hope you have a great day. It's just like such a nice message. Like he took all that time to do that. And I feel like he did because I saw it and I was like, I need to respond to this and I forgot. But hopefully he's listening to this. It's great to have those things to look back on, but it's also, that's how you get started. Like that's how you get started with social media and with posting content is you just start posting because the first content you make is going to suck. It's going to be really, really bad no matter what. So you might as well start posting content and learning that aspect of it while you're becoming a better coach than trying to separate it into 2 different time frames. As you're becoming a better coach, start posting content, learn those games. And I would say that should be your becoming a better coach is priority number 1 and posting about what you're learning and all of that is priority number 2 for the first like 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, 100%. You not only like what you did there, which was posting about coaching your client, but start working with clients in person. Mm-hmm. You become, Megan, you said you wanted to potentially become an online personal trainer. You become a better online coach by becoming a better in-person coach. And so whether that means an internship, a part-time internship at a gym, whether that means coaching family and friends for free in person with whatever equipment available, go to a Planet Fitness, whatever you need to do, get reps in with in-person coaching and and document that process. And if you aren't working with any clients in person right now, that's okay. Document your own training. Like we started this episode talking about, document what you're doing for yourself on the nutrition side, on the training side, on the rest and recovery side, what your current goals are and exactly what you're doing to pursue those, because that's a very good way of educating.
Yeah. And there's so many things you can do. Like maybe you're not a young kid anymore. You're not in your early 20s. I don't know where you are, Megan, but for anyone else listening, maybe you're not super young. Maybe you've got kids. Maybe you've got other obligations, so you can't go get an internship at a gym. That's fine. Like I remember when I was younger and I was living on the beach, I would go to the beach. I'd fill up these like drawstring bags with sand, and when I would just do like beach workouts with sandbags with people when I was living in Israel. If you have like a pair of dumbbells, have people go over your house, work out in your garage, or go to their house in your neighborhood. You go to their house, you bring the dumbbells, you put them in the trunk of your car. I used to do that. I used to drive around and stuff in the back of my car and drive to people's houses. I used to take them to the local high school, and like we would go to the high school and we would go to the playground and we would do workouts on the playground with some bands and stuff that I had in the back of my car. I remember I used to take people to the parking lot, and this is all just coming back to me now. I used to take people to the parking lot and put the car in neutral and do car pushes with like my little hatchback, just like a super like ugly little car that I had. There's so many things you could do. I remember one of my favorite things is doing outside workouts in the winter in the Northeast, right? Like in the winter, being outside, you get all dressed up, you got your snow boots on, you got your snow pants on, your hat, your gloves, and you go outside and like you just trudge through the snow. You just walk through the snow. Like if you've ever walked through wet snow with all that stuff on, it's difficult. And then you do a set of like 10 snow over the shoulders with the shovel, and then walk. Then snow over the shoulder with the shovel and walk. Getting people together to do that, you're going to learn a lot. I remember watching, there's this amazing coach, Ross Enamait, I think is how you pronounce him. He was doing the craziest stuff outside in the snow. Dan John was always doing amazing stuff outside in the snow. Like you're only limited by your imagination. And even if you just have body weight, that's great. But if you get a couple dumbbells, some bands, maybe a kettlebell, you can do it out of your garage, out of their garage, out of their basement, your basement, outside in the parking lot of the local school, high school, playground, whatever. Just start coaching people in person. It's going to help you so much.
What year was that you were doing sled pushes with the hatchback?
That was 2011.
Man.
2010, 2011.
So in 11, 12-year window, you went from driving a hatchback to a Bugatti. That is crazy,
I'm not driving a Bugatti, all right?
Come on, tell the people.
I'm driving a Toyota Venza, which is a very nice car. I really enjoy it. Super comfortable. But I'm not a money spender like that. I don't buy Bugattis.
No, you don't.
Gets me from point A to point B. You were in the car, right? Did I take you in the car?
I haven't. But,
did you get in the car?
Yeah, Jordan doesn't have a Bugatti. That was just a joke and me looking for a way.
Toyota Venza. It's just a great car. I'm a big fan, by the way. Not sponsored.
On top, Toyota's giving you sponsoring this episode.
Oh man, they're getting some real free advertising right now.
In addition to becoming a great in-person coach, a lot of people make the mistake of thinking that they need to create content everywhere. They see like Jordan, for example, they see someone who is creating on Instagram, on YouTube, has a full website. Like you're making content all over the place. And there's so many places now, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube Shorts, YouTube long form, podcast, etc. And they get overwhelmed because they feel like they need to be everywhere at once. Pick one short form and one long form and focus only on those two for a very long amount of time. That's the place to start. The place to start isn't trying to like repurpose and literally be everywhere. It's pick one place, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Facebook, and one place for short form, one place for long form, which should probably be a website, getting your website up and writing long form articles, and focus solely on those two as far as content creation goes for at least 6+ months, potentially longer.
Yeah. And I think one of the biggest things that prevents people from coaches or people who want to be coaches from posting content is they don't want to post something that's wrong. And they get worried about someone calling them out, saying that's wrong. I think one of the best things you can do early on is not present yourself as an expert.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you got video pods, people can see the air quotes. If you're not an expert, stop pretending to be an expert. You don't have to be right about everything. And if you pretend to be an expert and have all the answers when you don't and when you aren't, then A, you're going to look like a schmuck if you do post, or B, you're not going to post because you're going to be scared about being wrong. So when you post, I think it would be a really good idea to say things like, listen, I'm still in the process of becoming a coach. I'm learning. I very well might be wrong. I've been wrong in the past and I'll be wrong in the future. But based on what I know right now, this has been working really well for me and my clients. So here's what I'm going to say. And when you start with that, you take away all the pressure to be right all the time. Because number one, no one is right all the time. But number two, this relieves the stress of feeling like you need to be right. For example, the other day, someone asked me, why am I doing tummy time with my daughter? And the first thing I said, I was like, listen, number one is you have to remember, this isn't my specialty. I'm literally just parroting the things that I've heard and I've been told. Number two is like, this is why we're doing tummy time. And it seems to make sense to me, but I don't fucking know. I have no idea. And I got some people being like, oh, tummy time is great. And other people saying tummy time isn't great. I was like, cool. Well, I don't know. I'm just doing what my doctor and all that stuff told us to do with our daughter. So that's it. So as long as you start by saying, listen, I'm in the process of learning and this isn't my specialty yet, then you can't really go wrong. And you remove the imposter syndrome and you can just express what you've been learning.
I love that. I think that applies to, I actually see people who are great coaches use a lot of caveats too, right? Especially around nutrition, especially around like things that we either aren't currently or just can't be 100% certain of, prefacing what you're saying with, well, the current body of research suggests, or I think it's very likely that insert, rather than having these like black and white 100% zero binary statements, which do way better, right? Which perform way better, which are more enjoyable to consume, but are less technically accurate.
Yeah,
and so, so not presenting yourself as an expert, or at least, I don't want to say hedging, but just actually articulating the truth rather than being hyperbolic when you're presenting ideas, is something that benefits not only new coaches, but anyone making content.
Hyperbolic. Now that is a good word. That's a really good word.
Don't Google it. You know what that means.
I'm Googling it.
You know
it's relating to hyperbola.
Hyperbole.
Exaggerated.
Hyperbole. Bro,
hyperbolical.
Dude, no, this may have happened before. In the first 20 podcasts, I said hyperbole. And you said hyperbole. Good word. And you Googled it. This definitely happened. And then when we were writing our book, Jordan, this is like weeks after, used the word hyperbole. You were writing and you're like, you ended a paragraph with hyperbole was in the last sentence of the paragraph. And then you said something and then you said like, hyperbole, good word. Tell your friends they'll be important. They're like something like that. And when we got the notes back from our editor at that, she X'd out all of it. It was just like, she's like, this isn't impressive. Hyperbole is a normal word. She didn't even have a comment because usually there was like a comment in the sidebar. We had lots of comments.
Yeah.
It was just like strike through, eliminated from the book.
I remember that now. I forgot about that. That was so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not including this in the book.
Yeah. But we actually, gosh, we had so many, like, we had a lot of battles that we won that stayed in the book.
Oh, yeah. I think the majority of battles, I think we won.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, listen, this is staying.
Yeah.
Putting our foot down, putting our feet down.
All right. Next question here is from Syrian. I think I'm saying that right.
Good thing I turned my phone off. I just did that thing where like when you're like bored for a second, you look at your phone. I went to go look and just phone is off.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that, man.
That's well played.
Yeah.
That's crazy though. Like the amount of the lack of boredom in our society is wild. The lack of an ability to be bored with short style content and cell phones in general is just crazy.
Bro, I struggle with it so much.
Yeah.
Like I notice that when I could be on my phone in my apartment, right? And then I put my phone in my pocket. I walk out my apartment door to go down to my office, which is where I am right now. It's just a couple floors down. And I notice from when I put my phone in my pocket to walk out my door by the time the door closes behind me, I want to take my phone out again. It's maybe 7 seconds. And I'm like, and I catch myself, I'm like, just get to the elevator without using your phone. And then when I get to the elevator, I'm like, just wait until I get on the elevator. And when I'm on the elevator, I'm like, just wait until I get to the office.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, it's hard.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because this whole thing takes maybe a minute and a half. Or it's like if I'm going to the car, it's like, can't I just focus on walking to the car without having my fucking eyes in this phone? Like, geez, I really struggle with it. It's really crazy.
What are you getting stimulation from hyper enjoyable content you're consuming, or are you getting stimulation from positive feedback on your content?
Much more in the DMs, like especially right now with the mini cut, because every day I'm getting so many messages. This is so helpful. Thank you so much. Da 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 da. And so it's much more of that for sure.
Dude, we just talked about this, right?
I think yesterday or the day before. I think
I literally recorded a 6-minute voice memo that I might upload to YouTube while I was driving because it was such an epiphany I was having.
Today?
No, I recorded it on Thursday, I believe.
Okay.
I was scrolling. I know this isn't safe. I don't recommend this. Dislike the video because this was terrible. I was scrolling while driving with shorts going.
Oh man!
Like I wasn't reading them. I just had it off to the side and getting the audio.
Oh yeah.
But rather, not reading, not watching. It was just like my phone was sitting next to me. But then once it would loop and repeat itself once or twice, I'd scroll to the next one. And in my head, I was like, "What am I doing?" Like I can't. The radio isn't even as enjoyable anymore. A podcast isn't even as enjoyable anymore.
Yeah.
And so when I asked you if it was on the consumption side or the creation side, you said creation side, which I said is better, is because if you're letting yourself get addicted, and it's not just dopamine, but if you're letting yourself get addicted to the dopamine of consumption, of like, you're not learning, you're like kind of vaguely being entertained, but you're not retaining it because they're 15 to 30 seconds per clip and you're consuming a lot of them. So most of it's not sticking. You're basically in this like drone-like state. And if you're letting yourself get addicted to that positive feeling of getting that, that's just like wasting life. And I say that as someone who's fully addicted to that stuff. That's wasting life versus the addiction of positive feedback and posting and getting feedback, wanting to post more, wanting to grow audience, see followers go, like that kind of gets demonized. At least the back end of that is like food on the table for your family. It's revenue. It's building a business. You're doing something productive when you get addicted to the process of growing a business on social media. Whereas being addicted to social media enjoyment, entertainment, consumption, it's like gross. It's just a waste.
Getting addicted to other people's hard work.
Yeah, like literally. Literally. And it's not like the stuff that is hitting my YouTube Shorts, because it's been YouTube Shorts for me recently, is micro content from a podcast that someone else pulled that puts like some of the most emotionally stimulating, like best music ever layered on top of it with this impactful message. It's like the best 16 seconds of the podcast, and it's right there, and it's like boom. I'm trying to think of there's definitely an analogy between like eating a potato and like eating something sugary. It's like they're both carbs, but one of them your body handles differently, and one of them your body handles both of them differently.
Yeah. It's like they might have the same number of calories, but how those nutrients affect your body is two different things.
And satiety and leaving you wanting more of one versus the other one, they're vastly different. And so that's great that even though you're addicted to your phone, you're doing it in a productive way, replying to DMs, helping people out. Like it's better than the bad kind of phone addiction that I think the majority of people are sucked into.
Yeah. Agreed.
And option C is like, I don't know, I guess some people can just use their phone responsibly and like have complete control over their actions as a person, like good for you if you're that like on that level. But then my mind goes to option 3 of take the apps off the phone, which I think is the second best of the 3.
My goal is to get to a point where I can just have a flip phone. I want to go back to having a flip phone.
I put 50 million in your bank account right now. You do not stop posting. You do not go to flip phone.
Ever? In my whole life?
What do you mean ever? Like, no, today. Like, I like wired like 50 million in
Oh, if you sent me 50 million right now, you don't think I would stop posting?
No.
I think I could.
Well, yeah, could, sure, but like you wouldn't.
Why?
It's just not in your nature.
Man.
And by the way, I think that if you send me 50 million, well, it's hard to say stop posting, right? Because I'm not really. But I think if you sent me 50 million and I never posted another thing on the internet again, I would hate myself for it, because it means that the primary driver was money, and that if that like stopped it, then I would hate who I am fundamentally as a result of it. Whereas I actually think I think it's a good thing to want to continue to educate, entertain, inspire, like put stuff out.
That's a good point.
Not just for the money. The money's a byproduct of it.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah, that makes total sense.
So I wrote this in my notes the other day. Security is a weak goal. Like safety is a weak goal.
What do you mean?
I mean, first of all, there's no such thing as security. Like we're all gonna die. We're all mortals.
Okay.
So there's like at the end of that line, like there's no full security. There's no full level of safety. Further, you could have $1 billion and still be at risk of, I mean, to use something topical, and we don't need to, let's actually not go into this, but it's the first thing that came to mind, still be at risk of like, if there was a nuclear war, you'd be in trouble. Your $1 billion ain't going to save you. Your security, your weapons, your training, your anything you have. And so I naturally, based on my personality, a lot of the reason why I saved a lot and spent very little and worked hard over the course of my life was for the purpose of security. But it's a weak aim for a life versus doing it because you genuinely want to help other people, regardless of what you get back in return, to do it, I don't know, for other reasons.
There are more virtuous goals.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah. There are goals like that. Often security will come from chasing those goals as opposed to making security your aim. Whereas when you chase the goal of helping people and being a positive contribution to society and being a good individual, then security will often come with that, or heightened security.
Yes. Some security will come as a byproduct of it. You can't get maximal security.
Sense.
That's very well said. It shouldn't be the top of your value hierarchy. It shouldn't be your pinnacle aim. Or when I say shouldn't, like I'm basically yelling at myself. I'm saying like when you put security at the top of your value hierarchy, like that's weak. That's plain scared. That's a bad way to live. That's if you reflect back on life at 88 and that was if most of your actions were driven by that end, like that's disappointing.
It's also makes me think of that book that you that you told me about, Die with Zero.
Yeah, Bill
where
Perkins.
It's like if you're so focused on just security, and you end up dying with millions in your bank account, it's like you didn't even enjoy it. You didn't even what's the point of dying with all that money in your bank account if you can't even use it to enjoy it? You know? And then that money goes to people who didn't earn it, and that can really fuck with their head.
Well, some of it goes to you're thinking in terms of inheritance.
Yeah, inheritance. Yeah,
and the other I'm almost certain in the United States the estate tax is 50%, so half of it's going to the government.
Yeah, that's insane. Jesus.
And then you're, it's so hard to say this because someone who's in poverty right now is like easy for you to say, but having a trust fund, inheriting millions of dollars, I would imagine is just like it takes the fire out of you for a lot of people. It's like that quote some boxer said, it's hard to go running at 5 o'clock in the morning when you're sleeping in silk sheets.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Man, it's funny. Gary speaks about that a lot. Gary talks about how like there's a huge advantage in growing up with nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I very much believe that because I didn't grow up with much money at all. And I very much believe that not just from like a wealth perspective, but from a happiness perspective, from a fulfillment perspective, from a how you view life perspective, the people who are born into wealth, not all of them, but if you're born into wealth with a huge inheritance, I think it can be very difficult to find what you love and what you're passionate about. I think it can actually be much, much, much harder. Whereas when you come from nothing and you're forced to find ways to make ends meet, and you're almost coming from the perspective of like, well, I've got nothing to lose.
Mm-hmm.
You're willing to try so many more things. You're willing like to experiment and explore and put yourself out there and meet new people. Whereas when you're just given this from the very beginning, you've got something to lose from right off the get. Like you've got a lot to lose. You've got other people's opinions and expectations to live up to. You've got actual like tangible wealth to lose. You might not fully understand the value of that wealth and invest it poorly in yourself or in other people and haphazardly. I mean, there's so much more. I think you start off being more timid oftentimes because you don't want to lose it. Whereas when you start off with, you got nothing to lose, you're not scared.
Mm-hmm.
Like you go out and you try and you try and you try because worst comes to worst. Like you can't be worse off than where you are now.
Mm-hmm.
So you just keep on going. I think there's a huge, huge mental advantage in that, which like as a father now I struggle with like, what am I going to do with my kids? Like, I don't want them to, here's the thing. I think I have partly an unhealthy relationship with money because of how much of it was an issue in my house. It was just always like every single day. It was like money's an issue, money's an issue, money's an issue to the point where like I have like anxiety around money, right? Even when I shouldn't, it's still there. So I don't want there to be like the constant ever present worry about money, but I don't ever want them to think there's an excess of money. You know, like that's where I struggle now, like as I'm trying to plan for the future, like how do I essentially trick my children into not knowing that we're comfortable? Does that make sense?
100, dude, I used to think about this very often. You remember what Gary said that here's what my rich friends say?
Yeah.
They say, I'm rich. Daddy's rich. You're not rich. Daddy's rich. And so like that's how, and I don't know at what age, like, you know, there's how do you like fake scarcity? How do you it seems near impossible, but I think there are probably some things that you'll be able to do. You know, we both know the cliche of a 20-something girl who moves to Manhattan and has everything, has dad's credit card, right? And paying $5,000 a month in rent and da 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 da. Don't do that. When your daughter's
don't do that.
I want to move to New York City and I want to live in Soho and I want this, like, you know, I want to be on the 17th floor of this sweet building and I want da 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 da. It's like, oh, okay, well, good luck. And
what job do you have? You must have a great job. Pay for all.
Exactly, but I think about it more in terms of pre-18 years old versus like, you know, people who are helping their children financially into their 20s or even 30s that we sometimes see. And I don't know how you fake that, right? Like if you want to go on a nice vacation, when are you going to not go on the nice vacation because you want your kid to have this artificial sense of, you know, not being rich?
So I'll give you an example here. So obviously, you know, I love going to Israel. I like to go to Israel a couple of times a year. Only in the last year or two did I start going first class because it made sense and because like it's way more comfortable. It's a 12 to 14 hour flight. I can get a lot of work done on that flight. And there are so many reasons why I would do that. But if it was me and my wife and 3 kids, that's an unbelievable cost for a flight, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no way I can picture myself being like, yeah, sometimes I go on and I see entire families with young kids getting their own first class seat. And I'm like, they have no idea what it's like. Like they just don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
And so in my mind, I'm like, what, do I go first class and then the kids sit and coach?
You're all
Like, could you imagine? Like, no, it's like, no, we're all going to sit and coach the whole flight, right? It's like, that's what you do. And I'm sort of, this is me asking what your thoughts are. I'm not saying like, this is it. I'm saying like, what do you think? Like in my heart and soul, I feel like a part of me dies at the thought of bringing my kids on a first class international flight. Like even just first class flight, period. Part of me dies thinking about that, being like, I don't think I could subject them to that because I don't think that would be doing them any good. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I think that you just provided a good example of a way to artificially create, like, look, when I say artificial scarcity, it's like, oh, you have to fly coach on your international vacation. Like,
yeah. It's ridiculous. I get it. Yeah.
But I think that's a good way to impose some more reality into their lives. Now, there's also a part of me that's like, I don't know, if you're going to subject your kid to that, obviously you're all back there. But then when you're flying as an individual, you're talking about flying first class. I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is, but I think not. If it feels right in your gut to have the family and coach, I think that's the correct thing to do.
Yeah.
To not spoil your kid.
Yeah. Not spoil them. Like, yeah. And not think that they're better than other people. That's a big one for me. I see a lot of people who are either like born into wealth or people who have wealth. Even if they weren't born into it, they accrue it themselves. And this level of entitlement that they feel to treat people poorly it's disgusting in many. I just can't really comprehend it. And I don't want my kids to grow up like that at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I think about punishment. And I think about now like spanking and all this stuff. And I'm getting more like, I was fucking, dude, I got spanked like crazy.
Absolutely.
As a kid. My butt was like red and oh man, I got spanked bad. And I couldn't, now I see all these politics around like, no, you don't do that to kids, da da da. And I'm like, bro, I think that your kids need to get spanked if they do something wrong. Like, I'm pretty sure that's what like you need to do, but I don't know, you know?
I think it's different for you're really venturing into like hot topics and I love it. Video pod episode 1. Hey, if you're watching on YouTube and you've made it this far, give the video a like, thumbs up, leave a Spotify review, Apple review. Spanking. I was spanked. I wasn't spanked like I wasn't hurt when I was spanked. It was more
I mean, it hurt though.
Well, maybe you got spanked harder. I remember the fear of the spanking being worse than the actual spanking.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. It wasn't like...
Oh, lucky you.
It wasn't... It wasn't like the belt comes out and like...
Oh, yeah.
You know? This isn't some like...
No belt involved. Yeah, that's a different level.
You know, I remember... Yeah. I'm... gun to my head, I'm slightly on the pro spanking side, but I also think there are a lot of things that happen before it. I don't think it's just like, oh, kid did something wrong. By the way, I haven't thought this through at all. Kid did something wrong, like spanking, like that's the automatic. Like I think there's probably like
there's a build.
No, don't do that. Yeah, there's levels to
don't do this.
Out, like
don't do this. Don't. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, take away this privilege. Oh, you can't do this. Like, oh, doesn't work. All right, kid over here.
Or if they do something just like, if like let's say they just out of nowhere they start bullying a kid at school, right? It's like for no reason they do something obscene. They bully a kid, whatever. It's like, all right, well, you want to bully a kid? Let's see what it's like to get bullied. Like, there are, I think there's a level to what it, like if they're, I don't know, if they
What was the crime?
stole a cookie from the cookie jar, what was the crime?
Yeah. How
Yeah,
egregious
the
was
punishment's got to fit the crime. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Keep us
That's
updated
exactly right.
over the lifespan of your daughter. Keep us updated on your thoughts on this, and we can maybe it'll be a recurring segment on the podcast.
Parenting tips with J&M.
How to become a parent podcast.
Yeah.
This was very fun.
Dude, that's my goal with these conversations is I want to make sure you have a good time. You know what I mean?
You are Dale Carnegie reincarnated, truly. So bless your soul. I do wonder what kind of micro content will come from this. We
probably not much.
We're
not putting spanking content up on Instagram, that's for sure. You want to learn how to be a personal trainer? Spank your kids. Don't let them be entitled.
We should let's talk strat live here on the pod. So, should we come in with like 3 to 7 really good topics that are fitness or business related that we know is going to be the micro content, and then hit those, but then also do what we normally do, which is just goof around, talk about whatever for the first X minutes of the podcast?
So here's my only, I personally like that idea. I don't think you're going to practically like that idea because as soon as it's obligatory and hey, we have these definitive things we need to discuss, I have a feeling you're going to be like, nah, I don't want to do this.
What is the recruitment of the anterior deltoid on the Turkish getup through the...
Yeah.
Okay. But what you're saying is so you don't think us talking about money, us talking about parenting, you think that non-fitness, non-business subjects won't make good micro content?
I don't think so. Personally, I could be wrong. I think the good micro content's going to come from the fitness and business talk, the email list talks, the social media talks, the business strategies, the client psychology, all of that, which, this brings up a good point. If you have any questions about coaching or business or whatever, email us.
info@fitnessbusinessmentorship.com.
info@fitnessbusinessmentorship.com. Mike will collect all the emails. And then that way we'll have more specific questions from you that we can answer. And then I think the goofing around stuff is more just for the fun for the people who listen and who over the last couple of years, they've gotten to know us better and they enjoy our banter and all of that. I don't see, and I could be wrong, but I don't see this stuff doing very well standing on its own. Like the goofy banter stuff.
When do we ever have an answer to a fitness or business question that is short enough to be a good piece of micro content?
You could take a 90-second clip and post that as a reel. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
So, or even if it's longer, even if it's 2.5 minutes, it can still be uploaded.
We need social accounts and we need to shout them out. You know what we should do? We'll email the list. We might email the list. We need to get the social accounts made.
Well, once it's up, I'll share it on mine, and I know you'll share it on yours, and then we might email the list as well. We'll actually email the list when those accounts are up. Yeah, maybe that'll be part of the fitness silver business bullets. Is hey, go watch this clip, go watch that clip.
Thinking.
Mm-hmm. Some email strategy for you right there.
I like that distribution. Well, sweet. Everybody have a great week. Have a great weekend. We hope you enjoyed this. If you liked the episode, give it a thumbs up. Give it a review wherever you're watching. And we appreciate you. We'll see you soon.
See ya.